Yeah, I think we're just checking to make sure that we are.
Yeah, we on. All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. All right, Yahawah is the Heavenly Father's true name in the ancient Hebrew, who the word inwardly calls God, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Israelites. YAHAWASHI is the name of his only begotten Son, the Savior of the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, who the word inwardly calls Jesus Christ. And the QADASH is the Holy Spirit, which is the Spirit of truth. Double honors of the apostles of the great millstone, who we learned the truth from. And peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. Brothers, just through the Spirit, we want to just go, touching on this article, as the title reads, how has the Golden City ceased, man? And this article came out, I believe it was last night or yesterday, on Yahoo News, and they basically said that about 62%, which is almost like 2/3 of Americans, don't see America as getting in a worse condition, based off of what the president at that time, Ronald Reagan, he called America a shining city on a hill, and that was back in, I believe, 1989. He said that, and that was like the kind of the mindset of America during that time. It was the beacon of success. It was the face of prosperity. But 30 years removed later, the majority of Americans don't see America as that place anymore, man. And that just goes to show you how the Lord is bringing down this place quickly. Right? That's why in the book of Job it says that the triumphing of the wicked is short. Because America built itself up. You had the raging 40s and 50s, the industrial age, and all those different time periods. But within like from World War II to now, which was only about like 70-something years in between, America didn't really have a great time of prosperity. As being, like I said, as being that superpower of a nation that it claims itself to be. So, with that mindset, and you've seen everything that's going on, the racial tensions, the decadency of America, the morale, okay, the infrastructure, the corrosion in the different bipartisan parties, everything that America prides itself on is all crumbling, and that's ultimately because the Lord is raising up his elect, because the true nation to reign on the earth, in great prosperity is the nation of Israel, when our Savior Yahawashi returns, man. So we know that this place is on its last leg. Okay, we know that this place is on its way out, man, and that's why it's time for us as a people that are a part of the elect, to rejoice, man. As Yahawashi said, lift up your head, for your salvation draweth nigh. And this devil knows it too. They do all these polls, the Gallup polls and this and that poll, and they're seeing the mindset of people, and these devils seeing that their deception is their skirt is being uplifted and their deception is wearing off. So that's why this devil's going to come down with that wrath, man, because he wants to continue to keep his that power that he was been given to. But as the Lord said, the time of Esau, once again, is short, man. He wasn't supposed to be reigning forever and ever and ever, even though that's his mindset. His inward thought is that he will his land or his heritage will continue forever. But we're at the time where this devil is out, man, and it's real evident. So we're gonna read the article and then we get to the scriptures. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. Any brothers want to say anything? Y'all got it.
Yeah. We just we're gonna get right into it. All right. It says New Yahoo News, YouGov July 4th poll. A staggering 62% of Americans no longer see America as Ronald Reagan's shining city on a hill. All right, and right off the bat, you got a whole bunch of precepts. You want to get Isaiah 47? Yeah. Right. So it says what? The title says what? Americans no longer see America as Ronald Reagan's shining city on a hill. Okay, and as we're gonna get into it, all right, there's a precept which the brother's gonna bring out, and it's gonna follow through, basically showing you that look of America as that top of the world as it used to be, okay, is all gone now, like the elder said earlier. Okay, so now it's basically based off of a reputation that they've always had. Okay, so now what happens when that reputation is tainted, which is happening now? That whole mystique of America is gone. Okay.
Now I'm gonna get one verse in here real quick, and then afterwards we'll go through the chapter, because the whole chapter is basically going in on it. But this is Isaiah 47, verse 5. All right, pursuant to the title, it said what? The shining what city?
Shining city, yeah.
Right. So here it says, "Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms." All right. So like it says, get thee into darkness, because if the scripture is saying get into darkness, that means that for a period of time you were considered light, shining, like as the like it says, thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Okay, at the top of the hill where everybody looks up at you. Okay,
so let's get right into it. It says, this 4th of July, a new Yahoo News YouGov poll shows that no matter how polarized they might be politically, Americans finally seem to agree on something, that everything about America is getting worse. Okay, is there a preset for that?
No,
I'm just going to say this. He said everything in America is getting worse. Now, if a nation, in order for a nation to thrive, it's supposed to get better. It's supposed to be progressive. That's what they try to say. We are a progressive nation of people. And the thing about Esau, which showed you, how Esau is so wicked. I'm gonna get a quick precept, because Esau through the last couple of years, since Ronald Reagan said that until now, Esau has pushed forth a lot of wicked agendas. Gay rights, okay, gay marriages, that being uplifted, okay, abortions, that there is a lot of states now are for women having abortions, which is against the law. All right, of YAHAWASHI. You also have what else you have? You have a lot more of the Queen of Heaven mindset, putting women in positions of authority, over men, which that doesn't cause nothing but a confusion. So, but what does Esau says all these things are? He calls it transgenderism, letting now you can have a gender, as an X on a birth certificate. These the bathrooms can be men and female bathrooms. So all these things Esau has promoted, from the time Ronald Reagan said that, which is back in 1989 till now. But Esau calls all these things progressive. He's saying that we are becoming a more progressive nation of country or nation of people. So let's get this. This is the book of Isaiah chapter. Where is that at? Isaiah chapter 20. 1 second. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15. Salaki, verse 16. It says, "Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay." All right, it says, "For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding?" So the things now that Esau calls progressive is really the things that he has turned upside down, and he esteemed as being, progressive, meaning better off. But what really happened, since all these things that this devil has called, progressive, it said that America is getting worse. So it's getting worse because Esau is pushing wicked things and saying those things are actually better. And that's where Esau has turned the things upside down, man. The potter, meaning Yahawah, his way and ordinances, his statutes and commandments, he turned that upside down and said, "No, wait, I'm gonna say what is really supposed to be." And that's why now this America is just getting waxing worse and worse.
God, beautiful. So, continue. It says, in his 1989 farewell address, President Ronald Reagan famously described the United States as a shining city on a hill, a beacon of hope and a model for the rest of the world. All right, now the word beacon is basically like something that's highly esteemed. Exactly, like exactly. What did you say?
It attracts things.
It attracts things, exactly, and that is why for so long every single person throughout the world who was not in America always looked to be in America, man.
I'm gonna get the definition of beacon for you.
Come on.
Beacon, a signal fire commonly on a hill, tower, or pole, a lighthouse or other signal guidance, a source of light or inspiration.
Boom, there you go. And that's why America was always looked at as the #1 country in the world. Whether you look at it militarily wise, everyone wanted to copy the technology of America because guess what? They're the ones who started the atomic bomb. So right then and there, everybody said, no, you know what? Let's do away with physical man-to-man combat. Let's do the way the Americans do it, and let's go get nuclear weapons, nuclear energy. Okay, when you look at the political system, a lot of people start doing the government system. You have different countries in the Middle East, for example, who rule by lineage. But now they start to change things and rule by prime ministers, have presidents, all these things, man. Philosophies of America, like women having liberations and all these different things, is permeating into these different nations, different countries, because they look at America as a highly esteemed empire. Okay, just like back in ancient Rome. There's a saying that says all roads lead to Rome. It's the same thing here in America. All roads lead to America. You know, everybody wants to come to America, man. But now the Lord is uncovering the skirts and he's bringing down this place. So everybody's mindset of putting America on that pedestal is changing and is becoming upside down. Okay. So it says what? According to the Yahoo News / YouGov survey, which was conducted between June 29th and July 1st, which is a few days ago, a majority of Americans, 52%, believe that Reagan's remark was accurate at the time he said it. Only 21% disagree. Yet a staggering 62% of Americans say the U.S. is no longer that shining city on a hill. Just 17% say it still is. Okay.
So you got the majority, 62%, saying that the U.S. is no longer, all right, that shining hill in the city, because they're starting to see, all right, this place has been falling for years, man. Right. Okay, and the thing about it is that just like things grow exponentially, meaning it gets faster and faster as it grows, this place falls down quicker and quicker, all right, as it goes. You know, like maybe a year ago, it might have been falling at a certain rate, and it doubles each time, you know? So this place, like the Lord said, I beheld Satan falling as lightning. All right, that's how fast this space is going. Why? Because Esau has gone over his time. You know, his time has been up. Okay, and that's why as you're seeing Esau go down, you're seeing us come up. Okay, you're seeing more and more people wake up. You're seeing more and more people listening. Okay, more and more people being conscious that they're Israelites, because the Lord set it up like a seesaw. You know, Esau, seesaw, seesaw, Esau. As Esau goes down, Jacob comes up, and vice versa. Okay, but this time it's going to go like this, and it's going to stay like that, but we're going to be on top. Okay, but the point is, even people in America are starting to see that. Look, man, this place ain't making it, man. This place is through. Okay.
Continue. Says, and there's a quote. It says,
so actually, I got a precept for that. This is Isaiah chapter 14. Okay, verse. Oh boy, this is nice. Verse. I'll start at verse 9. It says, "Hell from beneath is moved up, or is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming." Okay, why? Because that's going to be your ultimate resting place. Okay, so it says, it's like, you know how somebody dies, you know, we bury them and all that stuff. Well, this time it's saying that before Esau even comes down, that hell, that grave is coming for you. It's coming up to receive you. Like, bro, we've been waiting a long time for you. All right.
That's Isaiah 14.
Yeah.
Should start with the top.
Okay. Well, yeah, when we bring it again, I'll run it from the top. It says, it stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they that look, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as we? Art thou become like unto us? Because, like it says, for a period of time you were above. All right, you're above them all, like the horde that sitteth upon many waters. Okay.
Right, and also real quick, when you pay attention to the so-called agenda that these devils have, the New World Order that they have throughout history, ever since I believe World War II, actually starting at World War I, all wars were created by these elites, man, and the bankers, exactly. And you read history on these devils and what they've done. All these kingdoms that's written up over here, they toppled those kingdoms because what their agenda was is to destroy all governments and religions. Okay, so you're gonna bring that back? What they're saying is that you see exactly what you did to us. You toppled our government. Now look, the Lord is toppling your government. How does that feel? So read that again real quick.
This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we?
Yes. So because you went in there, you infiltrated. They always did that. They sent agents. They fund both sides of the war, and then the outcome is predicted by them. So they decide, okay, there's a piece of land here. I'm gonna take the land, and then I'm gonna tell you guys you can't have it and you can't have it because y'all can't agree. So now for you to have a piece of this land, you gotta come to me, and I gotta give you authority to go use that land, but you gotta pay me. You see, and when you do that, you have control. So Esau did was send all these different agents throughout the years. You have Giuseppe Mazzini, you have all these different names. Okay, when they come, I'm gonna just say it. All these different names, Albert Pike, all of them. Okay, so-called founding fathers, all these people, Jacob Schiff. They sent these men to go to these different countries, going back to France. Okay, going back to Russia. All these different huge countries, they toppled the governments with what? Infiltration of having a secret society within a secret society. Okay, so that's what the scripture is talking about, where it says, have you become weak like as us? Because you made those countries weak. You turned kings against their own people. And you made, in return, you took the power over those people, man.
Hey, Esau did that with the Herods too.
There you go.
He did that with the Herods as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's trying to do right now over there in Venezuela. You know, he's trying to get Maduro out of there and put up their puppet leader. I forgot the guy's name.
Juan Guaido.
Yeah, and they're backing him up heavy and shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's how you're saying that's Esau MO. That's how he's able to take control. First, he gives the propaganda of you know, this guy that's there now, he's an evil person, like how they did with Saddam, like how they did with Gaddafi, like how they're trying to do with Assad over there in Syria. You know, they all this propagation. And it's been countless times where Esau got exposed over there in Syria that there was the one that was gassing people, or they were staging fake gases, you know, chemical gases. And then they try to blame it on Assad, because they want to go over there, like how you said, and take over, you know, basically how they do now, order out of chaos. They bring the chaos, and then they're going to try to bring in the order by setting up a puppet leader over there, man, so that they can, all that revenue, all the resources can eventually flow back into the elites of this world, which are the central bankers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like you mentioned, all right, with the Herods, that's exactly what they did. You know, like Esau will see himself in a powerless state, but will use his subtlety to be able to gain power. You know, like he befriended, what's his name, Antipater, all right, his Idumean ass pulled up out of nowhere, snuck up into there while he had the Hasmonean dynasty ruling, and then he basically came in there as like an advisor, and then he befriended Hyrcanus, and then started advising him to where that beef came between Hyrcanus and his brother Aristobulus, to where they kept going back and forth, and then he basically said, yo, you know what? Why don't you go talk to the Arabians, you know, and get an army so that you can fight against your brother? So I'm gonna help you take this kingdom, not knowing that low key, what I'm trying to do is once you in power, I'm so close to you, you ain't gonna suspect me. Then I'm gonna get you out, and I'm gonna come up in there. So that's how they did. And then his son Herod married up into the Hasmonean family, so that it could seem as though, oh look, I'm part of the descendants. I'm a Jew. So that's why they made him king of the Jews when he's a damn heathen, and everybody knew he was a heathen. So what did he do? He started building monuments, you know, started upgrading, rebuilding the temple and making things nice to gain your trust and then weaken you. That's how Esau comes up in there. The people need our help, you know, because you're gassing your people and their defenses. We got to come in there and help them. And nobody asks for your help. They're a sovereign country. But that's how Esau does it, man. He sneaks up.
With Haman, he the same with Haman. And even with the Borgiers, man.
Yo, the spirit.
I'll let you talk, because you got that information with how they went up into the puppetry, and that's how the Esau basically through the Renaissance, it came through the Roman Catholic Church before they actually got into like the actual rulership, man. Because back in those times, the church was basically the leader of the people.
Yes.
That's what the Borgiers did, man.
Man, that's the spirit too, because that's definitely the spirit. Because when y'all saying all this, I'm thinking about the Borgiers and Cesare and his father, Rodrigo Borgier, man. That's basically what they did. All of what the brother was explaining, that's what they did. They had what's that word? Insiders and the papacy or whatever. They had friends, and basically like they all got together and said, all right, well, when we do this, you're gonna become cardinal, then this, that, and third. And basically they just wanted to get higher up in the papacy, but they were doing it through deceit, and they was actually killing people too. That's another thing too, that they was murdering people. You know what I'm saying? Cesar would murder people. Rodrigo, his father, murdered people. The uncle murdered people. Everybody murdered people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Esau does. They murder people. They murder people and say like, all right, now we caused this problem with them. We caused this problem. Now we got to bring the solution. And that's basically what American government does all the time. Mm-hmm. They go to other countries, they murder people, and then they say, we got a solution for this. You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole thing with the weapons of mass destruction that they never found. They went up there and just murdered Saddam in the name of weapons of mass destruction. But they never found that shit, man. And that's what they're trying to do over there in Iran as well. They always talk about regime change. There needs to be a regime change in Iran. But the thing about that, as the scripture says, when you go and you touch Iran, you're gonna have to deal with the Russians too, man. The Russians gonna be a defense, and that's gonna be the end of Babylon, man.
Hey, there's a book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. And go back to Elisha's point, it says what? Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. So that's talking about here in America, man, Babylon, because the leaders of America throughout their history has always been about what? Blood, about what? Lies, and about robbery, man. That's how they get along and get over on everybody else. Okay? But let's get back into
I got a quick precept and then we get back into the article. Back that up. It's the book of John, St. John, chapter 10, verse 10. It says, it's YAHAWASHI. It says, the thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they, speaking about the Israelites, might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. And that's that's all Esau has done, man. Esau is the biggest thief, man. He got into his rulership, his power, the way he's at right now is through thieving, it's robbery, through killing and through destroying. You know, rape, robbery, and plundering.
And ultimately, I want to say, and just like the second part says, well, really the whole concept, the whole earth, the way it's supposed to be ran is through the righteousness of YAHAWASHI. So these heathens got to get taken out of power, starting with Esau. Everybody understand that glory of Israel is coming. So that's why the Lord is killing all this shit. Like, you know, he got to kill all this noise so we can come up and we can get our rulership, man. And the number one thing we got to do is take out these Edomites, man. And these devils know. They know their time is coming. That's it. And that's why you have all this racial tension.
Continuing, it says, there's a quote. I am in Texas. COVID-19 is on the rise, and there's quite a lot of anxiety, said poll respondent Alexandra Folks, a 62-year-old native of France who now lives in Dallas with her husband. Folks scoffed at the notion of America as the proverbial shining city on a hill.
He scoffed at it, man. They scoffed at it.
Right. That's because these people from other countries, when people talk about, oh, America this, America that, they laugh because they understand that the life that Americans live compared to there is a huge difference. Like, people over there got integrity. People in Europe and different parts of anyone who's not in America, let's just say that. Okay, a lot of people who are not in America right now, who are not born here, who are not from here, they see America from a different perspective. Okay, because they're not being dumbed down by the school system. They're not being pumped into with medications that's killing them. All right, the food system, all that stuff, man. So they're able to have a conscience. They have integrity. They have something that Americans don't have. Okay, which is common sense, and they can see, like, look, this is playing out in our faces. But then Americans don't see that because what? The media tells them that no, don't worry about it. It's all good. Everything is good. America is great again. Okay. Yeah, come on.
It says they scoffed at it. This is Isaiah 14, verse 16. It says, they that see thee, and this is America going down. So how much more when after it's already been brought down? It says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and shall consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? All right, and that's they're saying that not as in, oh my gosh, is that him, but more in the sense of like looking down on you, like, wait, you the guy, you were the devils who made everybody how you know, scoffing at it, which they're doing that now, and this kingdom, you know, it's going down. It hasn't been completely destroyed yet, but look how the people in America are even feeling about this space.
Hey, I'm gonna go into that word narrowly. I'm gonna see what he says. That was Isaiah 14 verse
14 and 16.
14 verse 16. It says, all right, hold on. It says, narrowly look. It says to stare, to gaze, to peep, to glance, to sharply at. All right, it doesn't really give you much there. But it's like how you saying, like, they going to like look at them, like, you know how like when you look at somebody, like you squint your eyes.
Yeah.
Yo, like, is this the man? Like, yo, like, how could you be this guy that did all this shit, man? You know?
Yep.
I got a quick precept too before you get back to the article. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 7. It says, so will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord the Holy One of Israel, man. And that's really what this is all about, man. This is all about YAHAWASHI, Yahawashi come back to their glory, man. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, Esau is looked at as the man as who's the number one done dada out here, man. But the Lord, that's why the Lord is bringing down his horn, and he's gonna bring out the horn of Israel, which is YAHAWASHI.
Oh.
And that's all it's about.
That's right.
I got a quick precept the brother posted on the comment board. The kingdom is within. Jeremiah 50 verse 23 said, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" And hey, that's a beautiful precept, man, because that's what America. This is what this article is plainly saying. Like, America is becoming a desolation among the nations. People at one point from everywhere on the earth wanted to flock to come to America, man. You know, they literally thought the streets were paved with gold. They literally thought that the land was flowing with milk and honey, man. You had the actual Edomites. I don't know if it was Amalekites or if it was Edomites, regular Amalekites, but they basically said that America is actually the New Jerusalem that the Bible spoke about, man. You see, I believe it because actually it was a mixture of both. Because those rats was over here during the time of us going into slavery as well. You know, because I believe Christopher Columbus was a rat, if I'm not mistaken. So they had that notion of them thinking that they were going to take on the promise of Jacob, you know, and make themselves to be, you know, they basically try to bring themselves to the promise of the kingdom. And they thought America was that place of the kingdom, you know, but really it says what? I'm gonna read it again. It says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder?" Because only Babylon the Great, America, is the only country that has gone across all four corners of the earth and set up their way of life, pose their way of life on other nations of people. You know, that's why America, they have all these military garrisons, so to speak, all across the world. You know, they said there's about 200 something countries, and America has 193 different military. I forgot what it's called. Military, basically military camps, all across all these different various countries, man. So they're the ones that have gone. They are the hammer of the earth. It says, military bases. The water military bases, over 109 something military bases. It says, "How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations, man?" And with this. This is just the beginning of a Babylon becoming a desolation. It's becoming a laughingstock amongst all these people, amongst all the even Americans itself. Americans itself is laughing at. And this is what this article is going into.
Right. That's it. It says we're banned. And the quote continues, says, "We're banned from Europe right now." She said, "How could we be shining?" Okay, and that goes partly into the whole Corona thing. All right, this whole hoax. All right. But also the fact that people in these different countries are trying to protect themselves from Americans. Okay, like they feel like America has become a toxic a place to be. And you got a lot of people who back then, even people our age, they used to think that going to America, you're going to get a good education, you get a good job. No, now they like, fuck that. I don't want to be there no more. It's too stressful out there, man. I want to live in my own country and live my own life. Okay, if you want to call me poor, I'd much rather be a poor man in a third world country than a poor man in America. That's what people are saying now, man. Ain't that some shit?
And that also goes, that part right there, real quick, that goes into the beast hating the whore too, man. Because, you know, Europe and America are supposed to be allies, but here you got Americans can't even go to Europe right now.
Gone. Continue, says, overall, the poll found the American people in a historically pessimistic mood heading into a holiday weekend traditionally marked by family cookouts and firework displays. Events that have been canceled across the country in the midst of a surging coronavirus pandemic that has killed more than 128,000 people, Americans, and is currently infecting more than 50,000 each day.
Okay, quick precept, unless I got something. This is the book of Isaiah 19, verse, I start at 2. It says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And when you go to the book of Revelation, just for the edification, you go to Revelation chapter, 11? Revelation 11, verse 8, it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified." So that's talking about here, you know, America is where our Lord, YAHAWASHI, has been crucified, meaning crossed out. All right, and they have put in another image of a savior, another Jesus, as spoken about, as Paul said And that's what's uplifted here. But guess what? Even that is coming down, man. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the image that they have portrayed as being the Son of God. That's historically inaccurate, man. So for a long time, our Lord was crossed out here. The people of our Lord, which are the Israelites, we were crossed out here, man. But it says spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So going back to Isaiah 19, it says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. All right, all these protestings and you know, the left versus the right, all right, the Democrats versus the Republicans, all that, the people that are for the vaccinations against are not for the vaccination. Everything, there's always people, especially in America, anything that you think about, there's people fighting against each other, man. You know, even with you go something very remedial as the sports. You go to these sports games, you have a Giants fans fighting against Eagles fans, man.
Always opposition.
There's always oppositions here. It says, they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. Verse 3 is the point. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards.
Hey, that's beautiful. Hey, going back to that point right there, where it says American people in a historically pessimistic mood. Okay, the American people, okay, in a pessimistic mood. You go to Proverbs 11 and 10 real quick. It says, when it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth. And when the wicked perish, there is shouting. So you could tell that people are willing, they're ready to go off in that spirit of like, yo, we're tired of this hell that we're in. And this is a precept going back to Proverbs 29 and 2. Okay, it says what? By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Okay, so everybody's being in that, like the elder said, everybody's in that spirit of uproar. Everybody's in the spirit of division. Okay, and that's a sign of what? A downfall of a nation or of a kingdom. Okay. Continuing, it says, the spiraling pandemic may be the main reason for the public's gloomy outlook, with a full 65% of Americans saying COVID-19 is quote-unquote getting worse versus just 16% who say it's getting better. Likewise, the number who think the U.S. coronavirus response has been worse than expected, which is 49%, outpaces the number who think the response has been better than expected, which is 11%, by 4 to 1, while record numbers now predict that the deadly pathogen will be a problem for more than 3 months, 68%, and believe they are very or somewhat likely to get infected themselves, which is 46%. Okay, so there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. A lot of people are not buying into what the government is telling them to do by telling them, yo, if you wear a mask, everything is good. But guess what? People in the back of their minds are like, look, we still have the mask on. We're still trying to do all these preventative measures, but still things are getting worse. You keep telling us that the virus is climbing and we might have to shut down again and we might have to have a second wave and these vaccines and all these different things. Guess what? Through the truth and this internet, we're putting a fire underneath the truth in terms of what? We're giving people the understanding that, look, these so-called officials that come out on the TV and tell you how to live your life and what you can do to prevent these viruses to happen, they're actually liars. They're actually not looking for the greater good of you. So now there's no trust between the people and the higher ups. So what do you think is going to happen? If you're trying to if you're an oppressor trying to oppress the people, okay, and you're trying so hard to cuddle them and try to see if you can get them to do what you want them to do, and now they're fighting against you, what are you going to do? You're going to have to use force, and that's the next step that they're going to take. Now, look, we gave you the chance to go out there, do whatever you wanted to do. You didn't do it. So now we're going to have to force our ways onto you. And that's what's going to happen. Okay?
Hey, that's what they're doing like right now, little by little with the whole mask now. It's becoming more and more mandatory. In certain states now, you can't go out in public, period, without having a mask. Not just going indoors to a grocery store, but you can't go out in public, in period, in certain states. And you're having now, which I've been seeing, a lot of people, like a lot of clerks and people that like are working at a business, they're denying people who go in there without a mask, and that's all really setting up preparation for what I was thinking about earlier today, setting up preparation for the chip, because what is happening right now? People, they're saying, hey, you can't go outside without first they say they suggest that people wear masks, voluntary to wear you should wear a mask. Then it said, all right, now you can't go into grocery stores, you can't go inside doors without inside stores without a mask. And now they're saying what? Now you can't go out in public without a mask. And now they're having people in the mindset of willingly denying people service without them having a mask, man. So they're saying, fuck your business, fuck your the exchanging. If you don't have a mask, I'm not even giving you any of the goods that you want here. So that's just all the mind prep. These devils are looking. I picture these devils like somewhere in a fucking dark ass pit room, whatever, and looking down and looking like, oh yeah, our plan is working. People are denying people to service without a mask. Yeah. So when we come out and give them the chip, yeah, these clients are not clients. These clerks, they're going to deny people if they don't have the chip. They're going to be willing to do that. So this is all like you're saying, a mind. It's all a mind game, man. Capturing the mindset of people to do their will.
It's like, if I may, it's like when the stuff first started with the mask. They, like brother said, walking around. Like before, it wasn't voluntary. It wasn't mandatory to walk in the going indoors with a mask. But then these devils, they got their handlers out there. They say, well, the people aren't really responding to it voluntarily. We have to make it mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going to happen. They're slowly trying to gradually see. They're trying to push the envelope. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, they're going to end up just pushing up the envelope and making everything mandatory on some just saying F it and just making everybody do everything.
And it's crazy because the way they was able to make it mandatory is by way of their media, by kept pushing out numbers. It's going up. It's rising more. It's rising more. We need everybody to be in this together so that we can fight this thing. I see a lot of people that are not really doing it. So now we got to make it mandatory. It's the same thing they're going to do with the chip. They're going to make it say it's voluntary. And then they're going to come out and say, you know what, we got to be in this together. If we want our society to thrive, we want our society to come back, and be lively, we want to need everybody to take this chip, do it for your fellow citizen, do it for your patriotism. They're going to make it sound sweet, man. Esau not going to just come down like a dragon and everybody like, nah, Esau, he's more subtle. What scripture says, he was more subtle than any beast of the field. That's how he does things, man. That's how he's able to maneuver is by being a snake, man, being serpentine.
God. Hey, and that's why Bill Gates, they had an interview with Bill Gates, I believe, was it last week or a week before? And he was talking about how there's going to be a second wave. And this time he said it, and he had a smirk on his face with his little wife next to him. And he said, and this time that will get their attention. And then he smiled about it. So they have everything planned out. Like, look, we're about to fuck you people real hard, and you're not ready for what's coming. And that's what's coming, man. A lot of people just, like the elder just said, it's conditioning. This is all they're doing right now. It's conditioning. It's like, okay, we're gonna bring you back in, and so people could get used to taking orders, okay, without any explanation. Oh, we tell you to do this, you just do it. Because what? If you're against it, you're not gonna get what you want. Okay, so everybody's being conditioned to accept something that they might not want to. If they don't, then the whole masses is going to be against them. You're not going to be able to function properly in society. That's what they're pushing everything towards right now.
Hey, right before you go to the article, I remember I did a video that these devils had. I think it was Prince Charles. He had a meeting, and with the UN, they're having something called the Great Reset. And he said he had 5 points in order to basically have that this great reset to happen, which is basically the great reset of the economy. And the first point was that they have to captivate the will of the people. People are going to go basically along with their plan if they captivate the will of the people. All right, their people are willing to go along with the plan, and that's what they're doing. They're making all these moves. They're forming or fashioning society, constructing society, so that people will be willing to go along with the plan of this new world order, and they're going to think it's going to be beneficial to them, man.
And I mean too, also with the all this these stimuluses and all this unemployment, so what they did was have everybody out of work, so everybody's really on some pause shit right now, except for the essential businesses. But they're gonna transition them real quick because they're already like still in the system. But what they're gonna do is have, when everything is like quote unquote trying to get back to normal, they're gonna say, look, we got this vaccine, and also we have to get this chip. The chip will come a little after the vaccine. So get everybody to say, you want to get back to normal, get back to work? Because they still have to crash the dollar to bring in the chip. So if everybody's not working and everybody's just getting digitally paid, for the most part, everybody gets direct deposit now. You know what I'm saying? So what they're gonna do is just, how you say, like the brother said, reset. So they're gonna reset everything back to normal like it's nothing, and put that chip in the vaccine. And that's really what they're gonna do, because they have to fuck this. They have to end this shit. They have to end this actual system, the dollar and all that. So I mean, what better way than to quarantine everybody and then put everything in the works to where it get back to a regular system, but it's a different system. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, they got the perfect excuse with the coronavirus, because then they got something to blame it on, something to blame the economy doing bad on. And on top of that, they deal with gradualism. So if you notice, when the pandemic started, we were all excited, you know, because we figured, oh, this is it right here and now.
Yeah.
But then they started to drag it out to where this is normal. So you forget how life was before this. And now you're stuck in this limbo where you're there, and then they start to show you, okay, we'll give you these stimulus checks. So now you become what? Dependent, okay? To where they form the habit where you're used to not doing anything but still getting paid more than actually working. And so you start to depend on it like a baby sucking on that titty, all right? To where that's like your go-to. And if they pull it away, you'll start having withdrawals. So now if they were to say, well, look, man, the economy is not doing good. If you want to keep getting, look, the job's already done. It's not like, oh, you don't have a job because we're just keeping you inside. No, the jobs are done. Because you weren't buying from them, they're closed. So in order for you to get a job, it's much more difficult. So you got to rely on our stimulus checks. Now, in order to keep getting the stimulus check, we're upgrading things. You know, now you got to get a chip, or now in order to qualify for a stimulus check, you have to be vaccinated. You know, in order to get the check, to actually get the money, you got to have a means to get it. You know, so now they start shifting. You like, damn, yo, I can't get a job and I'm hooked on this check. So in order for me to get it, shit, I'm gonna just take the chip. You know,
the digital dollar.
Yep, digital dollar is desperation. They use desperation, man, because they know what makes you tick. So they know how to get you hooked, befriend you, and then, you know, reel you in.
Yeah, that's why in the book of Revelation it says, and he causeth all. You see what I'm saying? So it's either by consent or by conquest. But I have a nice little quote real quick. I'm getting there. We're going to go right back to this. All right. This is a quote by, I believe, Adam Weishaupt, about how they're going to bring about this whole concept of this new world order, and also to ultimately chip people. It says, there's a quote, "We shall keep promising to give back all the liberties we have taken away as soon as we have quelled the enemies of peace and tamed all parties." Now, going back to, I believe, March or April, where Trump kept coming out and talking about how we're fighting an invisible enemy. Okay, so that's going into what? They're telling you, look, we're going to take away all these liberties, your freedom to go outside, to protect you. Okay, and then what? Once we're done killing off these enemies, which is what, to bring up about the vaccine, because Bill Gates came out and said, until we have a vaccine that's worldwide, you can't expect to be going outside. Boom. They've already told you that, right? And it says what? It is not worthwhile to say anything about how long a time they will be kept waiting for the return of their liberties. So they play on your emotions, keeping you in the thought of hope. That's why on the righteous side, Yahawashi has us what? As prisoners of hope. Because with that hope of that promise, you're going to keep on going until you get to the end. It's the same thing with Esau. He's using the same tactic, but on the left-hand side. Okay, we're going to give you this the promises of hope. Oh, everything's going to come back to normal. Make America great again. Once we get the vaccine. Oh, yeah, damn. Once we get the vaccine, all right, you're going to be able to go back to your normal lives again. So that hope of people waiting, all right, damn, where we going? We need the vaccine. Man. We got to go back to normal. But guess what? That normal is done. So right now, like the brother said, we're in limbo. They're setting everything up for that new life, that new world, normal order, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Mm-hmm. But let's get into it. All right. Continue, says Jeff Blankenship, a 52-year-old Huntsville, I guess Alabama, man who worked as a traffic engineer before a workplace injury put him on disability, said he has been surprised by how casual many people have been about the pandemic threat. Okay, cool. We are forging ahead in Alabama too quickly, Blankenship said. I wish everyone would take this damn virus a lot more serious. He is also concerned about deteriorating race relations. That's it. There you go. The division. You guys want to say something?
I was going to say, he said, I wish everyone would take this damn virus more seriously. That's that Egyptian versus Egyptian. Because you got people that are so, so for, vaccines, wearing masks, washing your hands, social distancing, and then you got other people that are like, yo, I don't really think this is. I think this is being overblown. Blah 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 blah. And those people are at odds with each other. And that could be your next door neighbor. You know, that could be somebody that you grew up with on the street for years, but your mindset is different from their mindset. But now they're looking at you like, yo, you're a problem because you're not taking this as serious as it's supposed to be taken. And that's that Egyptian versus Egyptian. A neighbor versus neighbor, man.
Hey, the same thing happened to me a few days ago. I went to the pharmacy to go pick up some medication for my mom. And the moment I got there to the front, dude in the front was like, yo, sir, you got to have a mask on. I said, yo, my man, I didn't want to argue, so I went back, picked up a mask, and I came back. And then later on, he kind of felt bad because he's like, damn, I might have been aggressive. He kind of felt bad. He tried to be nice and shit. And I wanted to tell him, like, yo, bro, you do realize that on the CDC website, it says to wear a mask, it's recommended but not required. You know that, right? Okay, so then that's it. But then
I think in stores, they're required to like, they won't give you service if you don't have it on.
With the people in there who they say you don't have to have it on. That's what they said. They say you can't force the person. If they don't want to have it on, that's fine. They might have some type of health problems, asthma, whatever. Yeah. So you can't force them to wear it, basically. But if you don't wear it, guess what? You can't be serviced. You see, so that's kind of like go ahead.
Because like we mentioned earlier, this is Isaiah. Oh wow, I said Isaiah. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 24. It says, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." So, what is going to cause friends to fight against each other like enemies? Disagreements. Why do friends get into fights? Why do friendships break up over disagreements? You might have done something I disagree with, or you might think a certain way I disagree with. A fight comes through a disagreement when you're at odds, okay? And so these people right here, this whole pandemic thing could even cause friends to become enemies. Because now you're like, yo, bro, stay home and wear a mask and do all this extra stuff. And your friend is like, nah, bro, that's BS. I don't believe in that. So then you thinking, well, you are part of the problem because you don't want to stay home and you spreading this virus. So I'm not messing with you no more. Right. And then he's probably like, well, you are part of the problem because you're an idiot and you believe what the government is telling you. So next thing you know, you were best friends, but now this whole pandemic has put you on different sides of the battlefield.
Right. And even on a high level, ultimately when they push out that chip and make it mandatory, they're gonna go around hunting people who don't have the chip. Okay, because you're gonna be a menace to society and you can't be controlled. So they're gonna want to eliminate you. If you can't control you and it's in the system we control, why are you here? Get rid of them. So what's gonna happen is that you're gonna have family members, for us, for example, brothers who might live with family members, right? Your parents who might go take that chip, they might be on some like, all right, I'm not going to force you to take the chip yet, but I'm going to keep convincing you. Hopefully, eventually, you're going to change your mind and go take that chip. And the next thing you know, you're going to have FBI agents at the door like, yo, you have somebody in this house who hasn't gotten the chip yet? And they'll be like, our daughter or our son, but he's not here or she's not here. What happens then? Oh, damn, where did you go? Oh, so you try to hide them from us, huh? Guess what? Those people are getting shot right there. And then they're going to come looking for you. Okay, so that spirit of that division, you might be like, oh, my boy got the chip, but I don't got the chip. Okay, well, how we gonna move? Well, he's telling you, listen, bro, I'm gonna have to report you, bro, because if you don't got the chip and I know about it, I could get in trouble. I'm not trying to get in trouble, so I'm gonna have to rat you up. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have that division right there. So this thing is all from here on out, it's all division, man.
It's like that whole contact tracing thing.
Yeah,
they're asking people like, oh, if you have the virus, we need to know everybody that you came in contact with. So that we can go contact them. It could be the complete opposite. You got the chip. Well, we need to know everybody that that don't got the chip so that we can, contact them and get everybody on the same situation because we need everybody to be in this together. And that's why the scripture says that, friends, YAHAWASHI said friends going to betray each other. Parents shall betray the son the parents, man. Especially if they start to use that pressure from above, pressure from below style tactic. Hey, if somebody lives in your household that doesn't have the chip, then we can't give you, we won't be able to give you the stimulus package. We need everybody to be, we need to be able to track everybody that the stimulus package is going to. So we need your loved ones, we need your kids, everybody to be chipped so that we know that these people live underneath your household.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Trump said that they were sending, like, I forgot, a certain portion of the stimulus check to dead people. So that's an excuse, like you were saying. Esau smart. Esau won't just, oh, you don't got the chip, I'm gonna kill you. He needs a justification. You know, so he can make your life a living hell. He can say, well, look at how they treat illegal immigrants right now for not being documented, because Esau needs you to be documented. So he can say, look, we got to treat you like a criminal because you could be a terrorist. You know, you could do things off the grid, and it'll make it harder to track you because you don't have a chip. So they can say, well, look, you can have somebody that robs or kills somebody, but it's harder to get this criminal because we don't have them on record. They're off the grid. So Esau's looking for ways to get you in there. For example, you don't got the chip, you can't drive. You don't got the chip, you can't go here, you can't do this. And they will make it so hard that something happens when you have to drive. Oh, we got you, buddy. Come with us. You see, so they'll make it to where they're justified in catching you for not taking a chip. You know, they might not necessarily just come up to you, you don't got the chip, I'm gonna shoot you. But they might, like you said, from above and from below, make it so tough for you that the second you try to resist, whoo, we got you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make it a law.
Right.
The scripture said you can't buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So like if you do live with family that, let's say all your family members got the chip, if you don't, you're technically a liability to them now. You know what I'm saying? Because what if you have to go get some stuff for yourself and you can't buy nothing because you have to have a chip? You know what I'm saying? So like that's the time, and that's how the love of many is gonna wax cold. Because after a while, people are gonna be more so becoming really enslaved by the government. So like, oh, you're against the government, so you can't be around us because we want to do a master say. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then and that's when we really have to like put our faith to the test, man. Because it's going to be to where we're like, we can't do shit. You ain't like, what are you going to be able to do? You're going to be able to not move in society. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to do it in a transition, like, you know, not making mandatory. Because, you know, I know y'all brothers seen that article I put in the chat a couple of days ago with the government employees in Michigan. No, Michigan. Was it Michigan? Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Voluntary.
That's Michigan.
You talking about the one that was voluntary? They made it voluntary. That was Wisconsin. That was a 3-6. I think that was a 3-6.
3 square.
The 3 square. Is it? If I'm not mistaken, it was Wisconsin. Unless it was a different one.
It's a different one. It's a different one. Where they're saying it's not mandatory.
Okay, like it.
They wanted to make it mandatory, but then they passed the bill saying not to make it mandatory, but keep it voluntary.
Yeah.
Just for now, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously we know that though people gonna get it and they're gonna make it to where like not making it on some mandatory and like tyranny, like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, and that's how you know ultimately that we're going to go under a martial law where the federal government is going to establish all the laws, because right now you still have governors going against the federal government, you know, because each state is able to do their own, you know, make their own laws and be able to say, are we going to lock down or we're not going to lock down, we're going to open up. And even though you have the federal government saying suggestions like, look, you should do this, this, and that. But if you got if you got a law passed in Michigan where the microchip has to maintain to be voluntary, eventually that law is going to have to be outlawed. And the only time that law can be outlawed is if there is a martial law, which where the federal government, the federal government is basically taking control over all 50 states. And that's how we know that martial law is going to be something that's going to be implemented, you know, aka, you know, national state of emergency, man.
Mm-hmm. What's his name? The old guy running, Joe Biden. He said what? Chief Justice.
Yeah.
He said he was gonna have to basically rule on that. And you know, when the Supreme Court rules, it's right there and there. Like the Supreme Court has the power. If Trump says he wants to do something, they're like, nah, shut that joint down. But if they say, look, we in favor of mandatory microchipping, my man, that's it. You know,
and that's why you have the 3 branches: the legislative, the judicial, and the what is the other one? Executive. Yeah, all those 3 branches, man. These regular governments, you know, state governments, they don't got that much power, man. They got only the power that those 3 branches really let them have.
Right.
Yes, sir. Hey, this is a book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. It says, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Okay? So going to the division of the country and where it's leading to is all leading to the end. Going back to the same thing as ancient Roman Empire. Okay? So continuing, it says what? He is concerned about deteriorating race relations. So going back to this whole, especially now, we got this whole videos coming out about Karens and what they're doing to Jake. Okay, it's becoming a thing now. It's like, yo,
One of them pulled out a gun on the Jake woman.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, they were doing this the whole time, but they suppressed it. But now with the whole, everybody's doing whatever they want. Now it's like, I get the chance to do this. I bet I'm gonna show you my true colors then. And it's all going to the Lord showing the true colors of who Esau Edom is, the so-called white people, and how devilish they are, and the hatred they have against our people, man. Okay? It says, but despite the many challenges America confronts this Independence Day, Blankenship said he does stand up proud for the United States of America. Okay? So going back to what? The pride of thy heart had deceived thee. All right. Also, what you see that the ship is sinking, and you still want to say, "Oh, I'm going to stand proud and ride for this thing, man."
Hey, that's how you know this is Esau's kingdom, man. You ain't gonna see no Moabite, no Hamite, no. I mean, they ain't gonna. Well, I stand by America. Like they not thinking like that, man.
Oh God! It says this virus got everything screwed up, but after this, I hope the ceremony will come back.
I got a precept.
Oh shit! The economy will come back. So
I got a precept for that. This is book of Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon." Let me start at 5. It says, "For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel." And that's the thing, man. Esau thought that we was forsaken. You know, them niggas will never remember themselves. You know, they'll never know that they were the Israelites. You know, we done deceived the whole world. Everybody thinks that we're the true Jews. You know, these people are just African Americans. They're never gonna get back to their God. But he didn't consider the latter end of it, man, because this is a spiritual thing. The Lord said, "What? We're not forsaken of our God." Okay, verse 6 it says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And that's what you're seeing, man. Everybody's seeing now that it's time of the vengeance. They're not seeing it's the Lord's vengeance, but they're seeing that something is happening in America. You know, as we read earlier, the historical mood of America is low, man. You know, I should say the mood of America is historically low. Let me jump to verse 8, because this guy said what? That this virus got everything screwed up, but after this, I hope the economy will bounce back. Well, your hope is in vain. It says, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, even and is lifted up even unto the skies." So right there, it tells you that your hope, once again, you can hope for something, but your hope is vain because Babylon cannot be healed, man. These wounds were incurable, but they're terminal. All right, Babylon has a terminal illness, man. You know, you can't. It's like you got a gunshot wound and it hit an artery. You got this gunshot. You know, you get hit in the artery by a gun, you're done. You know, at a certain point in time, you're going to bleed out, and there's nothing they can do to stop that bleeding, man. And that's what's happening to America. You know, and that's why a lot of people, you know, these other nations that are here, you know, some of them they're gonna go back to their own land. You know, we were talking about that earlier. But you got these a lot of Babylonians and a lot of these Edomites, and even a lot of Jake. Well, Jake don't have nowhere to go regardless, but they're going to try to stick it out into the end. A lot of these Edomites, man, you know, they feel like this is their home. You know, even though they might think they're Irish American or they're Scottish American, they think that, you know, America is their home. Babylon is their place, so they're just going to ride it out here, and that's why they're going to be destroyed in this place, man. And any heathen that consider themselves American, because you got a lot of these heathens that were born here, you know, their parents might have came here, or their great grandparents, they might have came here. They think that they're just American. They're just American Indians, you know, American Chinese Americans. If they don't go back to China, they don't go back to India, they're going to be destroyed here too, man. This place is not going to bounce back.
So God. Continue. So, yet America's bleak outlook goes beyond the pandemic. 64% of Americans, including 67% of Democrats and 60% of Republicans, say race relations, the focus of mass protests since George Floyd was killed by a Minneapolis police officer in late May, are also getting worse versus just 12% who say race relations are getting better.
Which 12% that I wonder. They didn't say the parties.
And that's just people who just talking shit too, man. Because you gotta have your head up your ass if you think shit is getting better.
It's strong delusion. It says 61% say the economy is getting worse versus just 21% who say it's getting better. 60% say America's standing in the world is getting worse versus just 15% who say it's getting better. And 58% say crime is getting worse versus just 10% who say it's getting better.
So the economy, the race relations, the crime, what else it was? The I think that was about it. Hey, well, the whole thing with the pestilence. Everybody's seen all these things are just getting worse, man. You know, once again, there is no throne. I know we didn't get it, but there is no throne for Babylon. Everything is just getting perpetually worse, and everybody is seeing it. You know, and that's why people are going to get waxed more cold and cold.
Hey, look at how it looks here on the poll. See, the disparity is crazy. Like a lot more people are hating or actually telling the truth on what they see.
Oh, and it said Americans standing in the world. Yeah, that right there is a major thing too, man.
Yeah, man.
That's the one that said that they're gonna see the fall of Babylon. They're gonna rail on her.
And where it said what the nations drunk enough for a cup, therefore the nations are angry. You know, the nations are mad. So they're standing in the world is becoming, less and less ideal. People are becoming more and more people are becoming more and more angry towards America. And on top of that, you have let the weak say I am strong. So as more people are becoming, the standing in America, standing of America in the world is becoming worse. These other nations are becoming more stronger to combat America. So it's like a bully, somebody that, let's say some jock, whatever. He used to be everybody liked him, and everybody liked him when they were weak. But I mean, so everybody liked him when everybody else was weak. But now people are starting to like him less and less. And these people that are liking him less and less, they're getting stronger and stronger. So it's like, yo, I'm getting stronger and I'm liking you less. What do you think I'm gonna do to you? You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to step to you.
Like said, the one that lived deliciously.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Nobody making money off America no more. Obviously, the economy is shot. So it's like
there's no use for you.
Yeah, exactly. You used to score. You old score.
It says violent crime in the U.S. has fallen sharply over the last quarter century. It has also declined during the pandemic, right? Because everybody at home. That's why. It says as a result, a plurality of Americans, 43%, including similar numbers of Democrats, 47%, Republicans, 43%, and Independents, 44%, say they were more proud of America when they were growing up than they are now. Across the board, the number who say they used to be quote unquote less proud of America is about 20 to 25 points lower. So going into
that shows you the hatred for Jake too, because when they were growing up, things were worse for Jake. Like you see some of those videos where you see them little Edomite kids, who were out there, cursing out Jake, throwing things at him, making him feel bad. Those little Edomite kids done growing up to these grown ass people talking about how things was better when they were younger.
Yep, that's true. That's the whole "Make America Great Again." That whole Tandra. That means what position was Jake in when what Donald Trump is talking about, man? Remember, Donald Trump is 70 something. So he's 77. So he was born what, like in the 40s? He was born in the 40s. So when he came up, it was during, just towards the end of Jim Crow laws and in the whole civil rights shit, man. When Jake was still segregation and Jake was still in a place, even though we're not in a better place, but Jake was in a place of it was outwardly, you could outwardly be hateful and persecute Israel. So he's talking about make America great again because the lower Jake is, the higher Esau gets. So now Jake is feeling like they're getting a little bit higher, which automatically means it's like a seesaw, which automatically means that Esau has to come a little bit lower. Yep. So if Esau say, yo, let's make America great again. So if their mind say, well, we got to be great again, that means that we got to put these niggas down lower again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Perfect. It says This dissatisfaction is driven largely by white Americans.
Yo, this is a good one right here. A good paragraph right here.
It's just largely driven by Edomites.
Edomites, that's it. This dissatisfaction is driven largely by white Americans who say they felt more pride in America while growing up by a wide 48% to 21% margin. Pluralities of Black Americans, 41%, and Latino Americans, 48%, check it, say are neither more or less nor less proud of America today, perhaps reflecting the personal experience of the nation's racial troubles.
That's very telling right there. That's it right there.
Hey, that's why the scripture said, well, Micah 2, verse 15, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. You know, it is polluted, it should destroy you with a sword of destruction. I mean, no matter what time in America, you know, it's not going to be better for you, man. You know, in your lifetime, it's not going to be, you're like, oh, it was better for me. You know, you had the slaves, when they were born slaves, they died slaves. You know, and our parents, it's not better for them. They got to work. They work and live paycheck to paycheck. You know, they are the hardest workers. You know, the first hired, last fired. So there is no time period where somebody in their lifetime can say, for somebody Israelite, they can say, yo, it was better for us back then. Right. That's never going to happen, man. It's only going to get worse, especially from here on out, man. For everyone, God.
Oh, it says,
if I may, Salakia, that dissatisfaction for the being white Americans, driven largely by white Americans, because you gotta remember, man, the people taking these polls be mostly Edomites, and they said that those are the ones that are mostly dissatisfied because why? This is their kingdom. So of course they're going to be the ones that's most mad because it said Jake is 48%, but they're not proud nor more or less. So it's like whatever. Like with Jake, it's like I mean. If anything, I thought Jake would have been like, it's a little better. But, you know, now we're starting to get back into those Jim Crow kind of time, those segregation kind of time. All like niggers and you fucking niggers and it's that third. It's like, now it's going back to that. So now this generation about to feel what the older generation went through to understand, like, yo, this shit ain't ready to never go away. But it's all, but what is it? Always say this. The difference between now and a few years back is now it's like, right, in this little bit, a few months, is no distractions. It's all about race relations and economy. Right. So that's all that matters now because now it's no sports, there's no NBA games, no NFL, there's no baseball. There's nothing to distract the people to like, all right, I can watch this while the world fucks up it. I can watch this while the world, our country goes to shit. At least you can watch sports. But now it's like, now you got to watch everything for what it is, man. And everything is depleted in this country, you know what I'm saying? And that's why these Edomites are so dissatisfied because it's like, damn, like, you know, what the fuck? And it's like no way to make America great again like they say. I mean, that's it.
I got two quick precepts. I won't break them down. If brothers want to, but I just read them. It says, Job chapter 20, verse 10. This is going to what the Edomites said when they were younger. It was better. It says, his bones are full of the sin of his youth. Shall lie down with him in the dust. And so, yeah, like they said, that's self-explanatory, man. Because there's these Edomites back when they were younger, as we brought out, they were persecuting Jake blatantly. You know, now they got to do a little bit more subtle, you know, but back then it was blatant. They were kicking Jake, throwing Jake, hosing down Jake, sicking dogs on Jake, you know. Another precept, this is the book of Isaiah 47, verse 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. You know, and that's basically like the Lord is basically speaking rhetorical. You know what I mean? Like, hey, stand with your sorcery. See if that's what want to help you out. If you believe that that's what's going to make you prevail, let's see if that's going to work, man. And as you clearly see, you know, Esau, he's trying to do it. You know, he's definitely trying to conjure up these spirits. You know, the sorceries, the black magic. But it's not working against the elect. You know, you might get 2/3 with that shit, but the ones who you really want, it's not working against, man.
Gone. Hey, and that going back to Elisha's point real quick, and then we can move on. You know, with this whole COVID thing happening, everybody's out of work, everybody's out of jobs, and most people who used to own businesses are so-called white people, right? Now their businesses are shut down. So those times where they had it good, they could put on the front and act like they fuck with Jake. You know what I'm saying? You see a so-called white man out there, you be like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Billy? Hey, what's up? Hey, you know, everything is Gucci. But now Billy's losing shit. So his tolerance for you, Jake, is really low right now. He has a very low tolerance for Jake. Okay, and then you got Jake in the spirit of like, hey, we rising up now. You know what I'm saying? You got Jake in the spirit of we rising up. Meanwhile, your government is making everybody equal. He said nobody got a job. Now we take care of you. Everybody get a stimulus check every week. That's it. Now that creates what? A frustration. Now Jake is in the spirit of like, yo, my nigga, you fuck with me, I'll fuck you up. Okay, a lot of Jake is in that spirit of like they don't take no shit from Esau no more. Like how the elders said back then, they could kick Jake down, beat Jake around, all that. Now Jake is like, look, you play that shit, I'll fuck you up and your wife, nigga. Like that's how they talk now. You know what I'm saying? Jake is all about that. So that spirit of tension between the two nations is rising up, just like it says it was going to happen in the book of was it Genesis, where it says Judah being the neck of thy enemy. That's it. Okay.
And going to your point. The whole thing with little Billy that lost his job, lost his small business, he's now looking at Jake, you know, and having more animosity. And on top of that, they're also now accusing, remember, because they said that COVID is spreading more amongst who? The so-called blacks and Latinos. So the more this spread, they're going to say, well, these people, they're the one that's spreading, you know, they're more susceptible. So they're spreading it the most. And they're the ones that's causing, you know, the lockdown to happen, you know, continue. And then also you have Jake, that Esau, the government, is trying to seek to please the poor. So you have a lot of Edomites that are saying that Jake, you know, rioting, looting, taking out statues. They're basically saying that they're public enemies, man. They're terrorists. You know, they're trying to destroy our nation because they're taking down all of our statues, all of our history. So these Edomites, man, they're looking at that Israel and they're having that disdain for them because they're seeing that they're looking at them as being the problem of all the. They're the cause of all the problems that is happening to their great America, man. And that's why that Jacob's trouble is going to be what it is, Jacob's trouble. Even though our whole world is going to go through that, it's going to be real. Jacob is becoming that real. Everybody's pointing the finger at you niggas, man. Especially Esau.
That's why Black Lives Matter protests, they having all these gatherings. And they saying, like, see, it's all their fault. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have these white militias and white supremacists will come with their guns and shooting up that shit. Actually, it was already shooting at one of the protests. I forget where it was at. But, you know, they said one person was killed. But that's what's going to happen. It's really just to stir up the Jacob and Esau hatred. That's really all this is about, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like, it's nothing else. There's no other explanation to what's going on except the scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? Because what else can you explain? It's like it's nothing else that can explain this, man. What, like, you ask a so-called racist white person, why don't you like black people? Besides all the bullshit, like, why don't you like black people? They'll say they're bullshit, they're lazy, they're this, they're that, but like, what the fuck? Like, that's not a reason. Like, that's a broad statement. You can't equate that to a race,
right?
And they don't even know that they Esau and we Israel, and that's why. You know what I'm saying? So they got to say some bullshit. But we are in the spirit know why they hate us, man. Because there's nothing else to explain. Because like, here it is, you hate Jake, but you don't hate Muslims, the one that blew up your World Trade Center. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? The ones that be all this terrorist shit, the real terrorists. When did Jake ever terrorize America, man? Here it is Jake is protesting because they're the ones getting terrorized, man. Right. But you know, it's whatever.
Hey, you know it's spiritual too, because they're gonna be prejudiced towards Jake, which you know you got Ishmaelites, all right, so-called Arabs that are Muslims, and then you got blacks that are also Muslims, but they're gonna treat the black Muslims different than the Arab Muslims, you know, because it's not about your religion or that. It's just it's a divine hatred between Jacob and Esau, right?
Yep. So continue. It says, asked which words they would and would not use to describe American society, the public gravitated toward the was it pejorative? There you go. Selfish. Boom. 47% yes versus 11% no. Corrupt. 39% yes. 13% no. Hypocritical. 45% say yes versus 8% who say no. Irresponsible. 44% say yes. 12% say no. And unfair. 33% yes versus 15% no. More people said they would not describe the U.S. as quote-unquote equal or quote-unquote just than say they would.
I got a quick precept.
Go
on. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 6. It says, I will send him against an hypocritical nation. And against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the street. So right there, it just tells you that America, what? And everything Esau does is all hypocrisy, man. Yeah. You know, you had Donald Trump take a picture in front of a church, like holding the Bible up as if, you know, this is the law of the land. But then he'll tell you, oh, you know, it's okay to be a homosexual. It's okay to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. He shaves his beard, you know, every day, man. Hell, he's an Edomite, which the Bible says is the people of his curse. But he's holding up the scriptures, man. This place is nothing but hypocrisy. Everything this place stands on is nothing but hypocrisy. Cruelness. It said cruel, hypocrisy, selfish, all right, which goes into pride, which that's Esau uplifts, you know, where the scripture says pride is hateful before man and God, and this is nothing but a prideful ass nation. So everything that the Lord hates, America embodies, man. And that's why the Lord is going to destroy this place off of the face of the earth, man. Because it embodies every single thing that the Lord is against.
Yeah, that's why he could do that, because it's not that book means him holding that book means nothing when the people who the book is about isn't using it as their power. They use it as their power as a deception, because they know everybody looks at the Bible, everybody puts the Bible high esteem, but really not in a sense. But they know that the Bible is something to the Bible, but they know that we the Israelites, so like the Bible is only powerful when Israel reads it, or when Israel has the understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? Because these devils don't got the understanding of the Bible. He can hold up the Bible all he wants. You still gonna be Edomite, and you still and all your people are Edomites, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Good.
Oh, I got one more, and I'll pass it. Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. It says, where is it? It says, and such as do wickedly against the covenant, and shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Okay, and that's what Esau does. He corrupts by flatteries, man. You know, by his vain words, you know, his smooth words. That's how he corrupts. That's how he's able to corrupt people. You know, corrupt especially our people by his wordage, man, by his wordplay. You know, and yeah, that's it right there.
Done. Hey, that's beautiful, because you brought out a point earlier about how Esau is literally hypocritical. He takes the scriptures and he flips it upside down, and that is literally what they do. That's literally what they do, and I got it right here. All right, it says there's a book, Satan, Prince of the World, okay, Prince of this world. All right, and it goes into all types of shit that these demons do, man. All right here it says, according to Satanism, all right, it is perfectly right and proper to encourage moral turpitude in all classes of society and at all levels of government by convincing the public that abnormal sexual behavior is normal, and that the moral code accepted by civilized nations based on the commandments of God and teachings of the Holy Scriptures is old-fashioned and introduced by church and state for selfish purposes. Okay, so it says, well, but behind the building up of a wrong conception of sex and its purposes as intended by God, our Creator, is a satanic principle that, quote unquote, the best revolutionary is a youth absolutely devoid of morals. And that is why our youth today are the way they are, and they have no moral judgment. They have no righteousness in them, because Esau, over the years, through the school, through the media, through the churches, through everything, okay, has created a concept of what? Of making right, putting good as evil and evil as good. Really hypocritical, man. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this. It says, there you go. It says William Wood, a 52-year-old retail supervisor in Lebanon, Ohio, said that while he is still proud to be.
You finish that last paragraph?
Can't go back to it.
I know. I'm saying, did you finish? I don't know if you finished it. That last sentence, because most people will say they would not describe.
Yeah. I finished that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It says William Wood, a 52-year-old retail supervisor in Lebanon, Ohio, said that while he is still proud to be an American and that he believes that the United States is, quote unquote, still the nation with the most developed sense of equality. Once again, he's being delusional. All right. His own experience as a retail worker is in the pandemic underscores his sense that some things aren't equal. Wood said he is required to wear a mask at work while many customers are permitted not to. Okay, so on a low level, he's complaining about. He's saying that America is equal, and then he's coming out and saying that, well, on the other hand, it's not really equal because I got to work with a mask on, but people could come in with no mask on. You see what I'm saying? But it's logical though. Like if you have a virus and you have a mask on, and I don't have the virus and I don't have a mask on, then what's the problem? I don't have to have a mask on because you claim that your mask, by you wearing a mask, you're Gucci. So what are you worried about me not wearing a mask for? You see? But it's not even about that. It goes deeper than that. As the quote says, why is it okay for some to wear masks and others not to wear masks? Because it creates a division. That's why. He said, okay, it says the breakdown of social discourse has hurt us, Wood believes. And that's the point. They wanted to have social discourse. That's why they put something called social distancing. All right. The right term would have been physical distancing because you're telling people to stay away from each other about what, 6 feet apart, which is very crazy why they'll use the number 6. Okay. But they said what? Social distancing. So they could what? Create that social discourse, which has hurt people. That's what he's saying. It says he said he is bothered by the tendency many Americans have to develop what he called, quote unquote, knee-jerk reactions to political debates when they are armed with with too little information. Okay, and that's done through the media because they do something called misinformation and disinformation. They have the truth in the middle, and then they barbed wire it with a whole bunch of lies. So by the time you get to the truth, you've been fucked up with so much misinformation that you don't even know what the truth is no more. All right. It says ultimately, Wood worries about how divided we have become, but thinks we can solve it if, quote unquote, if we turn off the TV and go outside and talk to our neighbors. We will find out we're a lot more alike than we think. That's what I say. Continue. It says the poll results indicate that America's long-standing sense of its own exceptionalism may be on the wane. Just 40% of Americans agree that the United States is, quote unquote, an exceptional country whose values, history, and political system are worthy of universal admiration.
So hold up, the history. That's the key point right there. His history, or the United States history, is literally a direct condemnation, okay, of the United States. If you go to Revelation, you don't got to get it, but if you go to Revelation 13 and 9 and 10 on down, his history is justification for why Revelation 13 and 9 and 10 is in there. Right. So are you gonna say that we're supposed to admire your history? What's your history? Okay, the Tuskegee Project, chemtrails, slavery, okay, wars, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, okay, all these things that you've done, that's a part of your history, but that's something to be admired. Okay, that shows you that the mindset that these people are in. Okay,
legalizing gay marriage.
Yep.
All right. Right. So continuing, it says what? The remaining 60% see the U.S. as a quote-unquote country with its own unique strengths and weaknesses, much more like other countries. Okay. Continuing, it says, for many, those weaknesses or weakness seem particularly pronounced today. The pluralities of Americans, in fact, say the quality of life is now better in Canada, 44% better versus 13% worse. Sweden, 45% versus 17%. Australia, 35% versus 15%. France, 29% versus 26%. And Japan, 33% versus 27% than it is in the United States or US only. It says, than it is in the US. Only China, among the choices in the poll, is perceived as having a lower quality of life.
Basically, everybody else got better life than US, except for China, is what they say.
Right, and the reason why is except for China. Look at the condition of China right now. You got it's a communist country. Number one. Number two, there's a whole bunch of pandemics happening over there. Okay, and number three, the people can't even protest freely. Now, if they protest, it's made illegal. Okay, and this poll was taken, what was it, 3 days ago? I believe June 29th to July 1st. Okay, so that's recently new. So this is based off of people's perception of China as it is right now.
And even that's even deeper with that. Remember, what people's perception of China is based off of what American media, because you know somebody that lives in China, and they say plenty of times that China is nothing like how American media perceives it to be. And that's what America does, man. It always, because what right now China, they're in a trade war with America. So what is America going to do? It's going to make America, in order for the government to get the Americans to back America, they got to make the boogeyman look bad. So China right now is the boogeyman, just like with Iran, just like with Russia. You know, before I came into this truth, and I thought about like Iran and places like that, I thought it was just nothing but just desert and everything's bomb. You Google Iran, man. They got greenery over there, man. They got it's very nice. Iran looks very nice, man. But what American media is going to show you is going to be nothing but just bombs and desert. People starving kids, just like with Africa. The west coasts of Africa, where they try to show you with Africa. Oh yeah, there's nothing but a bunch of jigaboos swinging in trees. We got whole ass civilizations that and beautiful, Even after Esau went over there and took the resources, you still got civilizations over there, man. So I got a quick scripture. Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. So you have, once again, this poll was done by Americans, right? You have Americans, aka Babylonians, that are saying that Babylon is worse off quality of life than these other countries, man. So they're looking at their own country as if this is not a place that is something that's to be desired. So if their own Babylonians are saying that, what do you think these other countries are saying, man?
Gone. Hey, and going back to your point, it says only China among the choices in the poll is perceived as having a lower quality life. So look at how China is looked at right now, or at least is promoted or presented by the media to the American people. And China is the only country that America is not as bad as, or at least not like. Then that means that America is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Continue. It says, if the American dream is defined as the belief that your children will have a better life than you did, then for most Americans, the dream isn't coming true. Okay. And it's just a dream. All right. It says what? A full 59% say they are either, quote unquote, somewhat worse off, 17%. And then it says what? Compared to, quote unquote, much worse off, 10%, or about the same, 32%, as their own parents. While a similar 56% predict their own children will be either somewhat worse off, 12%, much worse off, 7%, or about the same, 37%, as them. Okay, which the right thing, the right spirit to be in is to understand that there ain't no such thing as my children's children are gonna have it better. No. This is it. If you're in America, fuck this shit. America's done.
Hey, what the scripture says, a righteous man leave an inheritance for his children's children. But you can't do this in America. The majority of people say, yo, my children are fucked. Yep. And that's why you have a lot of people, especially around our age, they're trying not to have kids. Jake is always going to produce, but you have a lot of Edomites, they're waiting less. A lot of people in general, they're waiting longer and longer to have kids, and they're having less kids. A lot of people only have about 1 or 2 kids, and they're done.
Gone. It says Americans also largely agree with predictable partisan variation that President Trump is making matters worse. That's heavy, man, because he came in with promise for what? Making America great again. All right, this was all false promises. Okay, it says what? Half, which is 50%, say Trump has, quote unquote, hurt America's standing in the world, compared with just 30% who say he has helped it. A plurality, 46% say Trump makes them feel embarrassed about their country.
Yeah, like, oh, there's a shame. They're lifting up that skirt. The shame is being seen.
And that's the whole king of Babylon right there. So if your king is making you embarrassed, then what does that say about your own country, man? It says nearly 20 points higher than the number who say he makes them feel, quote unquote, proud. Get it.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 14. Salaki chapter 41, and I'll start at verse 6. It says, "The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. The prosperity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake." So, boom, that's it. Self-explanatory.
And Trump being the head of America, basically he's almost looked at as a father of America. And then his children are the citizens, and they're embarrassed to have him as their father, man.
Hey, that also goes into all these statues being taken down too. Because they try to make it seem like it's only Jake doing it, but you got a lot of Edomites that are for those statues being taken down also, man, because they're basically trying to hide their father's sins, man, because they're embarrassed and they're becoming reproached. You know, they're becoming reproached because of what America historically has done.
Mhm.
You're trying to wash it away from history, but you can't, man. The Lord said that He requires the thing of the past, man. It's over for you, devils, man.
Quiet, it's done. It says most Americans say the president embodies American values either quote unquote very poor, which is 43%, or somewhat poorly, 13%. Okay, and though Democrats largely account for that divide, 72% of them characterize Trump as a very poor embodiment of U.S. values versus just 9% of Republicans.
Now that's a lie because what Trump is, that is what America is, man.
Right.
Trump is exactly what America is, and that's why when Trump got into office after Obama, every Edomite was like it was super happy, man. You know, only real Edomites that wasn't really happy was Edomite women because of the whole grab them by the pussy type shit. Yeah. This shit, man. But if they say Esau is the majority is the majority in America, that's why Trump won the election, man, because he is the embodiment of what the average Edomite wants to be or is.
Rich.
Yep, and powerful, quote unquote powerful, because he's not a politician. He was just a rich, powerful white man, and that's what got put into office. That's what they wanted in office, because they seen Trump as themselves being that person. They seen a lot of themselves in Donald Trump.
Yep. Gone. It says, and though Democrat. Oh, I read that already. Continue, says the contrast with other recent presidents is striking. And that's the reason why is because this is the last president. He's done. After this is it, man. You know what I'm saying? It says what? Sizable majority say Jimmy Carter, 70%, Ronald Reagan, 75%, George H.W. Bush, which is, I believe, the father, 65%, Bill Clinton, 54%, George W. Bush, son, 58%, and Barack Obama, 63%, embody American values either very or somewhat well. Okay, only 44% say the same about Trump. It's crazy. It says the reason may be that a wide plurality of Americans, 44%, strongly agree that Trump often puts his own interests ahead of the country's. Another 19% somewhat agree. Just 28% of Americans strongly agree that former Vice President Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic Party nominee, puts his own interests first. And though the latest Yahoo News /YouGov poll shows Biden leading Trump by a smaller margin, 45% to 40%, than other recent polls do.
You can skip this paragraph if you want.
Okay, yeah, it's not that good. It says,
go to the where it says, despite all the doom and gloom.
All right, it says, despite all the doom and gloom, however, slivers of Americans' trademark optimism remain. A plurality of Americans, 43% to 35%, agree with the Mississippi legislature's decision to remove the Confederate battle emblem from its state flag. A similar plurality, 42% to 31%, favors Princeton University's decision to remove Woodrow Wilson's name from its School of Public Policy. Both are seen as signs of progress. That's heavy.
And that's that pleasing the poor, and that's ultimately what's going to cause that Jacob's trouble too, man.
Gone. It says, however skeptical Americans may be about their elected leaders, they also trust those politicians to do, quote unquote, to do what's best for the country.
And that's why they're going to be willing to accept, all these different, what they call the new normal that they're going to present, man.
Yep. Because the whole motto has been, we're doing this for you. Cuomo's been coming out saying what? We're all in this together. You do this, Americans, you do this, New Yorkers, you do this, and we're all gonna get back together, this and that. That's all they're pushing. You know, so Americans are believing that, yes, they have our best interests at heart. No, they don't. Because more than the CEOs of large corporations, 70% versus 30%, and more than the protesters who have taken to the streets in recent weeks, 67% versus 33%, with large majorities of Democrats, Republicans, and independents agreeing on both counts. In the end, 61% of Americans describe themselves as patriotic, and far more of them, including 58% of Republicans, say patriotism means pushing America to be a better country. 68% rather than loving America just the way it is, which is 32%, which may be why a plurality, 46% still believe the nation's best days are still to come. Hey, any brother got a precept you want to bring up?
I don't have one right now unless you have something. You want to read the last paragraph or?
Yeah. Let's just run that up. It says, even so, that means most Americans are either unsure how to answer the question about America's best days, 29%, or believe those days are behind us, 25%. A reflection of what has become one of the most uncertain and unsettling moments in recent U.S. history.
Well, the paragraph right before this one, where it tells the best days are ahead, that's part of that. They think their city is going to continue forever, man.
Right.
Because like here it is, like you see everything that's like fucked up in your country, and you told the best days are ahead. No, the best days are behind. They're behind you now. The best days are ahead only for the remnant of Israel, the elect. That's who the best days are ahead for, because everybody else, your time is past. Esau, all you other heathens, your time is past. Your time is past where you have any kind of leverage on top of Jake, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these devils don't understand. That's what these people. That's what and to the point of the lawmakers put all these laws to like take these monuments down, and they was actually talking about. I don't know if y'all brothers heard talk about not celebrating Thanksgiving as a national holiday.
Oh, I just read that they are seriously considering changing the Washington Redskins.
So check this out. What they're really going to do is, because all these lawmakers, remember all lawmakers and these people at the top, they're not the ones seeing all the carnage. They're not feeling the carnage from them taking monuments down. That's for the regular peons, man. And that's going to start all that racial tension, because these devils that's in the politicians and above them, they don't give a fuck about these monuments and all this shit. They already got the power. All right, they already have their piece of the pie of Esau's kingdom. But these lower level Edomites where they take the pride of Columbus and this and Confederate, like that's who's gonna rile up for them. That's gonna rile it up for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna rile up the elites and so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Man, I got a quick precept too. All right, because really spiritually speaking, of course, the best days of America and for the world are yet to come. I got a precept. This is Revelation 19:1. After these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore, which is America, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. All right, so that's going to be the best days of America is really when it's destroyed. All right, because at that point, look, you got to think of it like this, right? You got positive, you got zero, then you got negative. America's in the negatives. Okay, when it's destroyed, it's going to be at zero. Okay, so in that case, zero is better than negatives. So it's better to do away with America than to keep it here, constantly doing more and more wickedness.
God. Got a quick precept. This is Book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, how doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces. How is she become a tributary?
Yeah, that's spiritual too, because originally that was referring to Israel, but prophetically, all right, you can put America in there, okay, because that's what's going to happen to this place, man. All right, this place is going to be done. No, we're not going to be inhabited. No man, no human is going to be inhabiting America after it's destroyed. Only desert creatures.
One more precept. Joel chapter 3, verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, like we just said. It says, for the violence against the children of Judah, which is the so-called Negroes, all right, through slavery, says what? Because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Okay, so that alone right there goes to show you that the Lord is going to have indignation against America, man. Going back to was it Zechariah 2:8, where it says he touched the apple of his eye. Okay, so hey, with everything that's happened in the history of America and what's happening now and what's to happen soon, it's all adding to the tab of what of Esau, Edom, and what they've done, man. And the Lord is going to judge this nation for that. All right,
I got something. Isaiah 14 verse 1 says, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel." And that's what's happening right now. Hey, the Lord, starting with the prophets, that's the Lord having mercy on us, man. The Lord waking up the prophets is a sign of mercy. And then the prophets going out there and prophesying is a sign of the compassion that YAHAWASHI is having on Israel, even in the land of our captivity, man. That's why it said in Lamentation, the 4th chapter, what? That the iniquity of thy punishment is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Thou shalt no more be carried away into captivity. Because the Lord is having mercy on us, man. We just read that whole article. There was no, everything that was being talked about, there's no mercy being shown to America. Because if there was mercy being shown, people wouldn't think that, this place is so hypocritical a nation. People wouldn't think that crime is increasing. People wouldn't think that, race relation is deteriorating. There's no mercy being shown in this place. It wouldn't. The standing of America in geopolitics and realm wouldn't be getting worse. But the mercy is being shown unto the children of Israel, man. And even on a carnal level, with this whole, and this has nothing to do with us, but Jake is feeling like they're getting some type of mercy, even though they're not. With the whole Black Lives Matter movement, they're thinking they're getting some steam, which really is just going to, and they're going to Esau for that. But really, that's going to be a backfire onto them. But we, through the Spirit, we're really getting mercy from the Lord because we're getting this knowledge, this wisdom, and this understanding. We're remembering ourselves. Our people are turning back. The ones of the elect, they're turning back from the ways of Esau, from the ways of Babylon, and they're turning back to the Lord. And that's the true mercy. Going on, it says, and I will set them in their own land, and strangers shall join with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right. So the mercy is us being taken out of this place, man. Like how the brother said, America is being destroyed. So if America's being destroyed, first it's imploding and then it's going to explode by way of the thermonuclear missiles. What's going to happen to Israel? Because the majority of Israel is in America. So 1/3 of Israel got to go somewhere. The elected Israel got to go somewhere. If this place is going down, where are we going to go? The Lord said, I'm going to bring you back to your land. We're not going to go to China. Israel now we're going to be in captivity to China. We're going to be in captivity to Russia, Iran. No. Esau is the end of this world. Jacob is the beginning. Once the true Israelites get back into the Holy Land, it's like that last infinity stone, man. Mm-hmm. When that happens, it's over, man. Because we got the name. That's one infinity stone. We got our heritage. That's another infinity stone. We're keeping the law, statute, commandments. That's another infinity stone. We are getting our tongue back. But the name is the most important. But we getting our tongue back, our heritage. YAHAWASHI, that's gonna be the final infinity stone, man. America being destroyed, and us being brought back into our land. Then we gonna have the gauntlet, and after that, it's over, man. After we get the gauntlet in our hand, it's a wrap. We're not letting go of that power. Yeah, when we snap, it don't break. We're gonna keep being able to snap, man. Everything we do is gonna just be a snap. Reading on, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrows, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Now, it's saying that we're going to get rest from all this, right? Now, let's see who we're going to get the rest from. And thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, man. And when you read this whole chapter, even when you go to the Isaiah 13, even though Babylon, ancient Babylon was a kingdom, ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed, off of the face of the earth. Ancient Babylon didn't get arrows shot to it by the Medes and the Persians in the form of being made desolate. Babylon, ancient Babylon basically got taken over by the Persian and Medes. The Persian and Medes ain't going to take over this Babylon. It's going to destroy it. That's why I said Arabians should never pitch tent there. You see? So that rest from hard bondage where we was made to serve is talking about Babylon the Great, man, the daughter of Babylon, which is spoken about in the book of Revelation. You know, it says, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. That shining city on the hill, it ceased. It's over. It's not like the light can go back on. You know, they thinking that there's some hope. No, the light. Once the light is out, man. The Lord not going to put the light. You know what? I'm going to turn Babylon's light back on. No, when Rome started to go down, it just kept going down. There was no Rome went down and then it came back up a little bit. It did not. It was just it just got destroyed. When Greece went down, it just went down. So as America is going down, it's just going to be going down until it's destroyed. Verse 6, and I'll pass it. It says, and he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he who ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. And that's what's going to happen, man. Esau, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, it ruled this world with a continual stroke, constantly just bombing, constantly just going to different countries, you know, starting with the nation of Israel, but these other nations too. They're all going to see America be destroyed. Some of them, as it says in Revelation, they're going to be upset. They're going to lament because of the merchants, but the majority of people that are not merchants, they're going to be joyous that this place is being destroyed, man.
I got it. Hey, if I may, because we talked about his brother read a little earlier when we first started about the spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt, I believe. And you know, let's read about what he did to Egypt, because really, remember this is Egypt number 2. You know what I'm saying? So like, we got to understand that when the Lord delivers us out of Egypt, it was a whole nation, but now it's going to be elect. So I'm going to read this is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 12. Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation. Because brothers talk about we're going to be put back into the land of Israel. Second time. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestina. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of thine arm. They shall be as still as a stone till thy people pass over, O Lord, till the people pass over which thou hast purchased. Now, I talk about the Israelites back then in the land of Egypt, but that's going to happen again. And these other nations, they're going to be trembling at the glory of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, because for a bit of time now, the Lord took his name out the earth. So now our people are running around here like jackasses, talk about Black Lives Matter and all this other shit. But now the Lord has his remnant coming back, so the Lord is going to destroy all of the non-believers and the sinners of his people and all these other nations and deliver his remnant. And that's going to be what we lean up to right now. Not none of this Black Lives Matter and we want equality and better days ahead for America. Ain't gonna be no more of that shit. Cause that's the same jive that probably was going on in the first Egypt, man. You had Pharaoh that his heart was hardened, and he thinking like, no man, nobody really gonna take this on, man. That's Moses. That's brought ahead. What we gonna do? What these niggas gonna do, man? They ain't no problem, man. But what these elites and I'm pretty sure Trump and all of them, they know, they see us and they see like, oh, those are the different bunch.
Oh, you know what's spiritual about that? Once Moses raised up and he told Pharaoh to let his people go, what did Pharaoh do? He actually hardened. He made it worse for the Israelites, man. You know, when the plague started to happen, Israel started to actually get more help on them. But until the Lord actually sent that last plague and actually destroyed Egypt, that's when we was able to be taken out of. So that's what's about to happen here. As these plagues amplify in Babylon, America, it's going to get worse for Jake, man. Because as Revelation 12:12, he knows he has but a short time. So the Lord is going to harden this Pharaoh's heart, the king of Babylon, these elites, to oppress Jake even more and more here, man. And so that's why YAHAWASHI said, he that endureth to the end is going to be, it shall be saved. Is anybody that has a mindset of how they had back in ancient Egypt, where they didn't want Pharaoh, they didn't want Moses to prophesy against Pharaoh, they didn't want to leave Egypt? The Lord going to keep them here, man. The Lord not going to have that mercy and say, you know what, even though you don't want to come, I'm gonna still take you out. Now he's like, fuck that. You want to stay here, then you gonna die here, man.
That's spiritual too, because it was like Jacob's trouble back then, well, Mizraim's trouble, but then the whole nation, like Jeremiah 30:7, he shall be saved out of it. Back then was the whole nation, but this time Jacob's trouble is going to involve you 2/3, and only the elect are going to make it out of it. The same way we were delivered back then, the elect are going to be delivered this time. It's the same thing. You know, the scripture says the Most High changes not.
Make that second. You ain't gonna make that second trip.
Right. I got a precept real quick. It says Isaiah 47:3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man."
So that's going into the destruction of America, man. That the Lord is telling you that what? You're not read that again real quick. Get the precise words.
Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered,
right.
Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Boom. So there you go. That process is already happening now. You got all these different people, these different nations, even Americans themselves are seeing the sins of America. But then that time comes when the Lord YAHAWASHI is going to come down and he's going to destroy all of this, man. All right, but let's get this last precept, and then brothers don't got nothing else, we can just close it out. The book of Nahum, chapter 3:4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, which is America, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts, all right? Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And
like it says, thy skirts upon thy face, because your skirt is from your waist down.
Right.
So for your skirt to be on your face, that means it literally got to be up. You know, if your skirt is up, then that means whatever's under is being uncovered.
Right. It says what? And that's a shame. That's a shame. If you see a woman is walking and her dress starts to blow,
First
what happens?
thing she does is
she covers up. Exactly. So it's the same thing. You know, it says what? And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. That's why it says what? And they looked narrowly upon thee and said, "Is this the man?"
A gazing stock, because I mean, you know, if a woman's, you know, let's say she's walking amongst a group of guys and her skirt go up, people gonna gaze. They gonna look. You know.
Yeah.
Now imagine a woman that got nothing but filthiness underneath there.
You go. Which you ain't seen that?
Yeah.
It says what? And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? Whence shall I seek comforters for thee? All right, so that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, they're gonna look. They're gonna be, oh hell, I don't want no. They're gonna be embarrassed that they even had dealings with you.
Right.
You know. Right. But hey, like you said, that was pretty much it. So we continue.
Yeah, we could.
Close it up.
Oh, Khan, yeah. So, hey, man, that's pretty much it, man. You know, this is going into prophecy and also going into how America, all right, is leading it's leading that path onto its destruction, man. Just like ancient Rome did, that division. Okay, the people not being happy with their oppressors, so to speak, all right, and ultimately revolting. But then it's all going to be quelled with those nuclear missiles, man. All right. So, hey, man, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. All right, stay in the spirit. All right, the Lord is doing big things, man. Year of prophecy, man, as you can see. All right, man. So, hey, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. We'd like to say, call HALALYAM, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. All right, and until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.